Good afternoon. So thank you, first of all, for making your way inside of City Hall. We had a little weather not cooperating and thought it might be a little bit more comfortable for you to be in here and in the dry than to get wet and windy. So thank you for that. This picture behind me will just have to serve as your inspiration as it has been mine for the last 3.5 years as it has hung outside of my office. I've said many times, I had the benefit of that picture the entire time as people were upset and disrupted and couldn't see exactly what was going on or what it would become. And so I'm grateful for Warner Schifrin, first of all, to give me that picture from the very beginning and those that designed it. We'll just get underway here. There are just several people that I want to thank personally. We felt that we could not let the season pass and our Christmas festivities get going without thanking these folks. First of all, I want to start with Stephanie Brown from Chastain Associates. There you are. Did you want to speak? Oh, you said you did. So, Stephanie is who we contracted with first to lay out the center square portion specifically of the square. That was one of the parts that we did first. What you see now is the fountains and then making room for an ice skating rink and so forth. And she had to have benefit of lots of different wish lists and things saying, no, it needs to do this, it needs to do that, and we need to find a vendor that can design these fountains and that kind of thing. So thank you for putting up with the early days of all of that and for seeing very early on what we all see today. I already mentioned Warner Schifrin, but specifically Brian Ziegler, Steve Donahue, who's the president of Warner Schifrin, is here today. Joe Zdankovic, Donnie Reitnauer, and probably a bunch of others with Warner Schifrin that I'm failing to mention, but were involved in every step of the way. This was a 3-phase process, and I want to just visit that with you real quick. I've already talked about the center circle part, circle, square, octagon, whatever we've got. Many different shapes. That was one stage. The second stage, which you will remember from disruption, but is not appreciated until you have to have it, was a replacement of an 80-year-old or 85-year-old water line that was insufficient for the growth that we had planned and really insufficient for what was existing here, much less the growth that you're seeing now and planned. So that was phase 2, was replacing that water main up here. If you study Sam's website, you'll find a long lineage of fire protection and water delivery problems on the square that literally date back to 1839, and I'm proud to say that we have once and for all eradicated that problem. So that was phase 2. Phase 3 was made possible through a grant through the Illinois Department of Transportation, who I want to thank, and the federal government, 2 acronyms. One's called ITEP, one called STU. I see Dave Severin, who is still a state representative, but unfortunately is no longer our state representative. He's just to our neighbors to the north, but he's instrumental, along with State Senator Dale Fowler at the time, in helping us secure that grant. I'll go through the math of this briefly in a minute, but I want to thank Warner Schifrin for every step of the way, all the way from the very beginning with Stephanie until the last brick was put in, and they stood there and waited and were celebrated right along with me. Samron, just so happens, was our contractor for both the phase 1 and phase 3, so that was the center improvements and the square proper. I want to thank Justin Stilley, Dave Murray, Chad Francis, Grant Guthman, who's here to speak on behalf of Samron. And I want to give a very special shout out, and I don't mean any disrespect to the names that I've just mentioned, but Sean Spence, if you raise your hand. Sean was my day-to-day contact, Cody's day-to-day contact up here. He was the foreman for Samron on phase 3. I don't know, I doubt very seriously, but I'll give you the opportunity to speak if you'd like, but I will speak. In absence of that, I'll speak for you. This was an extraordinarily complicated logistical nightmare. in order to replace lots of pavement, improve the pedestrian ways, all the things that you saw ripped up, both in phase 1 and phase 3, but specifically phase 3. Most people may not realize that we have about 9,000 cars a day that go through this roundabout. And the trick is to allow that traffic to still pass while all those improvements were being made with minimal disruption to our merchants that were already here. And so I'm pretty sure Sean took his share of grief from constituents, merchants, drivers, and I've thanked him personally and in private, but I want to publicly acknowledge I think you did one hell of a job with your crew, and you have one hard-working crew, and I've told them that too, so thank you very much. I want to thank our street department, who also was integral to this. I saw Doug earlier. Where's Doug at? Doug, step in for a second. That gray-headed guy, formerly a red-headed guy, is our street department superintendent, and super individual that doesn't get celebrated too much, I don't believe, but is a huge part of what you see in city services, and certainly was a huge part of this project. Thank you, Doug, and to all of your folks. Wiggs Excavating was the vendor that we used for phase 2, which was the water main project. That too was also logistically difficult, not knowing, you just don't know what you're going to get into when you start digging up a square that was laid out in 1839. And we found some interesting things. I want to thank our water department. I don't know who's here. Is Cliff or anybody here from the water department? They did an excellent job, not only with that part of it and tying in the existing businesses that needed to be hooked onto that water line, but even extending to the new triangle areas where you saw the mums planted this fall. You now see the not so real poinsettias that are planted, but those are all irrigated now thanks to our water department and Pearson. It helped us with that. Last but not least, I want to thank Cody Moak, my chief of staff. Could not operate without him on a daily basis, and certainly this project could not have even gotten off the ground. And so thank you, Cody. Lastly, I want to thank the city council, and I don't know where Doug went. He was, oh, he's hidden. These 4 men, John Steckland, John Barlow, Jim Webb, Doug Patton, who've been here since, some of you here before then, but all of us have worked together since 2019. I'll remind you and them that the financing for this, I've mentioned the STU grant and the ITIP grant, but back in 2019, pre-COVID, before the world fell apart, we laid out a vision and a funding plan for this and many other things in the city, and I'm proud to say that through your support and of that plan, all that you see is paid for, dime for dime. We didn't borrow one dime to pay for any of it. It's paid for, and hopefully will serve the city so well for the next 50 years. So our city's in great financial shape due to your stewardship and your vision of how to use funds very judiciously, and thank you very much for that. So I would like to invite somebody from Warner Schifrin. I think Brian Ziegler's going to speak, give them the opportunity to give you a little bit of their vantage point, and then I'll ask Grant to speak after him, and anybody else. I don't know if anybody else. Ben, did you want to speak while you're here? No? Okay. All right, Brian, would you mind coming up?
Good afternoon. Stephanie and Ben, I think you've done it right. Usually the engineers don't like to be up here talking. I don't know if it's a good thing to be invited to speak. It usually is ribbon cutting, usually staying in the back. Especially when you look at your list, you're wondering what you're going to say because you just went after Mike Absher and he gave everything that you were going to talk about right down the list. So, as some of you know, our office started Claire Engineering, Claire Civil Engineering, and now Warner Schifrin has been involved in downtown projects, since 1965. But nothing major on the square, even in my time of 25 years down here, some sidewalk jobs and stuff like that. So, we were really excited when Mike Absher was elected and had a vision for downtown, revitalizing it, which is the heart of Marion, and made it a priority. So I don't know how many meetings I've been with the contractor and others and saying, this is the project. This has got to get done under budget and on time. So anyway, we're excited about it. So it started in 2020, which I think was that the year you're elected to 20? What was 19?
We laid out the plan in 19. That poster you showed it July 23rd, 2020 at the Cities.
And it just about came out about the way that looks right there. So, but we started with a planning grant through Greater Egypt, and that team was, when we got the team together, was Tower Square Engineering at the time. I called Steve Donahue with Warner Schifrin, and I'm glad Stephanie made it down, Chastain Associates. And we started on a plan then talked about how this works and how can we fund this, you know, and how much money we're going to need. And like the mayor said, the first phase was the inner circle, the fountains. Pretty much tore up everything in that inner circle except for the tower. So wiring, space, and wiring for the skating rink, benches, new sidewalks, and that kind of thing. Of course, the larger portion of the project, or more work, more funding, came after that, was basically consisted of everything outside that inner circle. So all the pavement rehabilitation. So we did soil borings to see where found that there's a concrete slab here, some brick there, changing the traffic to a modern roundabout, which I think had some people nervous. There were several people at City Hall, maybe you included Mike, that said that you're gonna take vacation that week. I think it went really well, actually. I always say that when I come up here to the square, which is a lot, was that you could tell the people from out of town would stop. People in town would keep going if you're on Main Street. So I think that worked out real well. But then the biggest improvements that we were really happy with was crosswalks and access for the public. I think that's turned out really well, and as well as we hoped. Electrical improvements to the square. Hopefully when we have an event up here and power goes out somewhere, Doug, wherever you went to, is not running around to different buildings and checking their breakers and fuse boxes and stuff. Decorative lighting, and like I said, the water mains. So as the mayor said, the project was extremely complicated. It was a road job, a site development job, commercial development, all rolled up into one with many aspects. We were really lucky. Samron got both contracts with the bid, and I'll have to compliment Justin Stilley, Sean, Grant's team. They actually do a lot of different aspects of construction, other than just road work, which we got really lucky with, because this was about every construction discipline you could have on a job, from plumbers to electricians, you name it was on this job. So keeping track of it was extremely difficult, and they did it. I think that was the first thing I said. I almost felt like that was my only point of being in some of the meetings. Is like, this has got to be done by Thanksgiving. Mayor, Cody, they've got their holiday plans. This has got to get done, and it was done 2 or 3 weeks ahead of time. Just I think at least for 3 weeks. So was a heck of a feat. So I do want to thank Mike Absher for his vision on this. I want to thank Cody Moak, Doug Phillips, and Brent Kane on working with us and taking care of, working side by side with us throughout most of this, because a lot of it was, you tear into something, especially if you did the water main first, you tear into it, what's that? Is that live? Where's it go? And those guys were right on the job, on top of it all the time. So I want to thank our entire team in our office. We did have a lot of people that worked really hard on it, and I do want to thank our project manager, Josie. I don't know how many meetings we had and spreadsheets he did and scenarios of funding, because we had a certain funding to come in through. So if this happens, how are we gonna pay for it? What if this happens, how are we gonna pay for it? He did a lot of work on that. And then Donnie Wright, now our man in the field, who seemed to just kind of have it under control. I was more worried about it than he was, I think. So for our office, for Warner Schifrin, I want to say we are very, very proud to be involved in this project. So we don't take it lightly to be involved in Marion's projects, but certainly a project of downtown of this magnitude that affects this many people for decades to come, we don't take that lightly, and we are very, very proud, and I appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Mayor. As was mentioned, my name is Grant Guthman. I'm with Samron Midwest Contracting, and what an exciting project. We're very thankful to have been a partner on this and been selected as the contractor for this and the center portion of the project. Projects like this don't come together by accident. It's already been stated, it takes a lot of coordination, a lot of cooperation, and a lot of hard work. And I just would like to repeat what's already been said and thank everyone, the City of Marion, your staff, Brian, and your staff, everybody's been great to work with. And then also for Sam Ron, Justin Stilly, and Sean Spence, who have been instrumental in seeing this project through. This is kind of a landmark project, a historic project for the City of Marion. We're very excited to have been a part of it, and just excited for the development going on in downtown Marion. So, thank you.
Dave, would you like to say something?
I'll
I've never seen you turn down a microphone yet.
Yeah. I'll just say something from here. I appreciate what you said in acknowledging that I'm here because my heart is still in Williamson County. With the new remap every 10 years, they took Williamson County away from me. So now I've got to be in Carmine, Mount Carmel this evening. But I'm honored to still be here and be a part of what's going on. And our office works really hard at still helping people in this area. And so I'm so proud to work with you in the past, continue to be supportive from a few miles to the north. And this project is absolutely amazing. And it's been great to watch it go from a dream to fruition to where we are today. So I'm honored to be here and to work with you and proud of everybody that's involved. And the pride that you've taken in this whole thing is awesome. So thanks for letting me say a few words. And so campaign's over, so I'm not campaigning.
Thank you, Dave. Karen? Where's Karen? Karen, would you like to say something?
Okay. You gonna talk about how we're gonna cut this one?
Okay, there's a great. On behalf of the chamber and of course our business community, we could not be prouder of the square and just the amazing things that not only have come in the near future, but also in the long-term success and sustainability of the City of Marion and also Southern Illinois as a region, for our small businesses up on the square and our big businesses that have defined our region. This is just an amazing chapter in Marion's history, and we are so proud of everything that everyone has accomplished.
Okay, we're trying to figure out how to cut the ribbon indoors when we had not planned on this way, so.
You want to have all the engineers and engineering staff?
Yeah, have the
city
council
staff,
come up here.
City council. The mayor in the center, city council on either side. Then reps from the city and Dave. Engineering firms. Okay. Matt, Megan, would you be so kind?
Anybody desperately want to be in the picture? We got room. We got a lot of room.
Yeah.
Hey, Doug. I'm getting pictures. Don't make it on here, Doug. Get in the-
Come on, city staff, come on, Andy.
Last call. Okay, start it back. Trust is in this one.
This is kind of as far as I he probably doesn't want to.
Seriously, this is making me nervous.
I mean, if the ends want to scoot closer, I can scoot farther back.
Okay, well.
Yeah, if they can come in the middle a little bit.
Okay, thank you all for coming today. We appreciate your involvement, your interest in this project and seeing it completed and joining us to celebrate. And lastly, please consider visiting some of the merchants on the square who have been a little bit impacted all year long. And if you don't need a meal or something from Glacier's Inn right this second, have no fear. They sell gift certificates, and it just so happens it's that season. And they make great stocking stuffers. So that's my last ask of all of you, is to help patronize our merchants up here, help make their year a little bit more merry and bright. All right, so somebody can count to 3. We'll cut the ribbon on behalf of the outside square. Everybody.
3, 2, 1.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's okay.